Thank you. I'm delighted to be here. I've been associated with Ollie in Davis for many, many years, and I always say I love to teach Ollie classes because if it's supposed to start at 10, everybody is in their chair at 10 minutes to 10. Nobody sits during the talk and checks their email every 5 minutes. And the best thing is that everybody seems to understand the jokes that I tell. And I like that too. That doesn't happen with the normal freshman class anymore. Anyway, I'm teaching a course on the human impacts of global climate change. Perhaps you've heard about something called the AMOC, A-M-O-C, and that it's going to run amok, M-O-K, A-M-O-K, and we're all going to freeze to death. Or maybe you're concerned about the prospect that last summer's extreme heat dome will appear next summer and cover Northern California, and we'll see temperatures of 120 or 115 for several days on end. Or maybe you're happy to hear that Prince Charles has solved the climate crisis because he runs his Aston Martin on a mixture of old cheese and wine. Or maybe you've heard the story about a new strain of perennial wheat that's going to solve all of our problems, even if it can't be made economical or scaled up. So, are you a little bit confused about climate change? Well, this course is for you. After making sure that we're all on the same page about how we detect and measure global climate change and the evidence for it, we will look at the impacts of global climate change on temperature, sea levels, flooding, Arctic sea ice, behavior of glaciers, extreme events, permafrost, etc. I'm not going to use sophisticated mathematical formulas. I'm not going to give you fancy theoretical models. I'm not going to give you impractical policy proposals that will never happen. And I'm not going to give you magic bullets. I just want to give you plain talk about each of these topics. So we'll look at underlying causes, current observations and trends, future expectations, and realistic mitigation measures. And then we'll talk about, as I said, what, if anything, can be done about these. I am particularly interested in the relationship between different effects. So my goal is not only to talk about each topic sequentially, but also to weave them together into a tapestry that shows you how these are all connected. I'm a great fan of Barry Commoner, who was called the father of ecology, and he had 4 rules of ecology, and one of them was that everything is related to everything else. And I strongly believe that, and it's that interrelatedness that I hope to convey to you in the course. So for example, the historic 20-year drought that we're experiencing in the Western US, the heat dome that we had last summer in Washington and Oregon, and a little bit in Northern California, the wildfires that we have, the unequaled wildfires that we have experienced in the last 2 years, and the deluge that we had right here, a week ago. They're all related, they're all connected, they're all part of global climate change, and they have impacts that range from ash extending from California to New York, smoke taint affecting the wine crops in California, but they also provide new insights into how fires grow and spread and how the dynamics have changed.
Thank you.
So these are some of the topics I want to talk about. Another aspect of these interrelationships is complexity. For example, the flooding in Venice involves subsidence of the ground due to industrial development on the Italian coast, plus sea level rise, plus more frequent and stronger storms. due to the greater variability of the climate, of weather. Also, the existence of extreme low pressure systems that pulls the sea, literally pulls the sea up, and also the effect of inflow from the Po River Valley. All of these things contribute to flooding in Venice, and ultimately most of them are related to global climate change. And then toward the end, we will talk about demographics. I've become a great believer in demographics since I was in the State Department for 2 years, 10 years ago. Demographics is really, really useful in understanding not only what has happened, what is happening, and what will happen in the future. For example, there are fewer 18-year-olds in the country now than there were 10 years ago. And that has implications, among other things, for universities and how much you want to build at a university in the light of the fact that you may be getting decreasing enrollments. And why are populations decreasing? And maybe that's going to help us actually in solving climate change. We'll also try to make sense. I will also try to make sense about what does and doesn't seem reasonable to do, and then what I fear will be a totally unsuccessful COP meeting in Glasgow next week. I decline to comment on that at the moment. I'll just wait and see what happens, although I'm stockpiling lots of articles that are relevant to this. So by the end of the course, you should be able to understand global climate change, follow its evolution into the next decade, and the prospects for surviving all of this in some way. It won't be a pessimistic course. There are things that we can't be happy about, but in the end, humans are the most adaptable creatures that have ever lived on this planet, I believe. And at least some of us are going to survive global climate change. And you'll learn all about it in this course.